Alright, we're going to do a search for the prices for the 10 top most valuable precious metals. So we'll do the first one, which is, I guess, Ethereum. So this one is in the range of $824 kilogram. Retail investors, $380 per kilogram. So there you have it. It can reach up to $1,100 per kilogram. I'll do rhodium. So 7,800 to 8,300 per troy ounce. So that's actually worth more than gold. So right here we have another substitute that we can use for gold. This looks like it's about almost twice as much as gold is worth. About 250 to 267 per gram. And per kilo it can be up to $250,000 to $267,000. So you can actually get this one by the kilo. It's pretty impressive. So this can be a major substitute for gold if gold is being hoarded. This can be a long-term store of value. Rhodium. And what do we got? Ruthenium? I'm not sure if I'm gonna even know how to say a couple of the names of these. $31.99 per gram. Well, that's not bad. That's actually a decent price for a precious metal. That's actually less than silver right now. Oh no. So silver is $60-something per ounce right now, and this is $31 per gram. So this is more like, this is like like a third of the price more or something like that. Well, this is a pretty good substitute for silver right here. Rhenium, I guess you just call this one. So just did ruthenium, but oh, that's okay. This one is 1,800 per troy ounce. 48 to 60. There's another good silver substitute. This is $60 gram. So rhodium is a good gold substitute, and these two are good silver substitutes. Okay, so I'm sure we all are aware of the price of gold, so now let's check platinum. $2,053.60 per troy ounce, but look at it's starting to climb as well. So precious metals are definitely going up in value, but this video is to show that we have other precious metals that we can use as money, not just silver and gold. Now let's check palladium. Here's another good substitute. This is $1,795 per ounce. So this can be something right in between gold and silver substitute. This can be, so we can have more fungibility. We can have a store of value where this can be, how much per gram would this be? 795, so what, like roughly a little under $100 per gram, something like that. $60, $70 a gram. So these other ones is like $40 a gram. Silver right now is what, about $2, $3 a gram. And I mean, these are all fungible prices that we can use instead of using copper and nickel and zinc and all that stuff that they use debasing our coins right now. Like the penny is supposed to be made of copper, but they make it mostly of zinc now. What we need to do is we need to reorganize our money with these precious metals right here so we have more fungibility. And if we use just gold and silver, and people hoard gold and silver like they're doing with silver right now, making the prices manipulating, then that's what happens. The wealth gets misrepresented by just being valued in gold and silver only. If we had the value get spread out through these other metals, especially these top 10 ones right here, then the prices wouldn't fluctuate so much for gold and silver like that. We'd have more of a balance because we'd have our money be able to spread out in value with more of these precious metals and not just two. If we put all of our wealth in two metals and not in these other ones, then hoarding and wealth gets concentrated in these two metals, and then nobody can use it. The people who want to use the wealth don't get to use it because it gets hoarded by these major banks and whoever wants, because everybody's putting the value in just those two metals. We need to spread that value out around these other metals. Now let's check out this one, osmium. Osmium, whatever, how do you say that one? Osmium? So this is a very expensive metal. This must be probably the most valuable metal on the planet. $2,445 to $2,455 per gram. That means that per ounce, you're talking about, probably $60,000 per ounce of this stuff. So this is probably the most expensive metal on the planet, worth more than gold, more than rhodium. Well, maybe rhodium is worth more. Let me see. We just looked at it, but let's look at it one more time. Yeah, so this is only $270 per gram, where osmium is $2,445 per gram. So this is by far the most valuable metal on the planet right there, even worth more than gold and more than rhodium. All right, we got one more to do here. Iridium, I guess, call it. How much is that one? 4,400, 4,500 per troy ounce. So it could cost, what, something like a little over $100 per gram, like $125 per gram, something like that. So this can be another substitute for gold. As far as a substitute for silver, we can use other base metals as substitutes for silver, like titanium, nickel. We can use aluminum even. We can have some other non-precious metals that we can use to divide silver, the value of silver up into. That way we can have silver as one type of fungibility currency. These others can be substitute for gold and silver as well, but for the lower denomination values, we can use copper, titanium, nickel, zinc, aluminum, any of those base metals we can use to divide the value of silver up into. Gold can be divided up into silver and some of these other metals. Most of these other metals can substitute for gold and silver. See, so we can, if we need just a chart, if we had a basic standard chart that showed the ratio values of these metals to one another, like this much of this metal is worth the value of this much in this metal. And this much of well, 1 gram in this is worth the value of so much of a gram in this. You know, we have a ratio chart of what the values of these metals should be in comparison to one another, and those values should never change unless more supply or less supply happens in the economy. But that would have to be if these metals are used in the construction of, say, circuit boards or equipment. See, there's where the line should be drawn, where you can't just buy these metals and just store them in a vault. You buy them, and you don't buy them, you use them as money. And when somebody wants to use the metals in a project in construction, then they have to really be transparent about that, because you're basically taking money out of the money supply and you're putting it into a machine, and that is going to make the value of the metals change in the money supply. So we need to be very transparent about how these metals are used as our money, and when the money is taken out of the money supply to be used in the building of machines and technology. We need to have that all transparent and on record, because that affects the prices of things. And if we are serious about having a controlled monetary system, we have to use metals, a variety of metals that have value to them like this, and we have to be able to divide those metals up into equal values to make change with one another. Just like we do with the US dollar. We have 4 quarters that meet a dollar. We should have a certain value of these metals, ratios values to each other. That way you can spend one and get change with other metals, and you can use them in the economy. And if you want to use them in building circuit boards or anything like that, then that you have to go through a process probably to do that, because you're effectively taking money out of the money supply to do that. And that's what the money regulation, the monetary regulation should be, not interest rates, not a bank. The only reason the central bank controls interest rates is because that controls the profits that they make, and it keeps the economy stable. People don't realize that the bank is just designed to make money off of us trading with one another. If we had our control of our own monetary system with our own precious metals as our money, we wouldn't have anybody charging us interest, and we'd all prosper together. We wouldn't be bleeding out our wealth to the banks and to all these fucking rich people 24/7 with all these little tiny digital transactions that happen every millisecond of every day. Meanwhile, you have to wait X amount of business days to get your paycheck, and they take money out of your account instantly. So you want to live in that kind of system where they control and take money from you whenever they want, or do you want to have a money system where we control it and we decide when money is taken in and out of our monetary system, and we decide the value of the day? I like that better. So pick your side. You want to be with the banks, or do you want to be in a free money monetary system? You decide.